Friends, in this video, I'm basically going to raise a very interesting question. What is the IP which software companies are trying to safeguard? Fine. Now, this is a very fascinating question. I'm sure many of you will basically be able to relate to what I'm saying. Now, let's first understand what is the intellectual property of any engineering company. Now, let's talk about automobile industry, okay, wherein who are in the business of creating cars and trucks. Ask this question: what is the intellectual property of automotive company? Is it the ultimate product which goes into the market, whether it is a car or a truck, okay, whether that is the intellectual property, or whether it is the knowledge which goes into the knowledge of the problem that they are solving and the knowledge of the solution that they are coming out to basically create this product. What is the intellectual property in this case? I'm very sure it's pretty obvious. It's not the final product. It is basically this knowledge which goes into creating understanding of the problem and coming out with the solution, which they basically document it into various documentations. They come out with various engineering diagrams for basically understanding the same, representing the same. So the IP of a particular engineering company is always in the form of understanding of problems, understanding of solutions, which is documented using various models which that engineering stream is dealing with. It can be, as I said, it can be in the form of documentation and the standardized modeling languages which is being used, okay, by that particular thing. And I can tell you, most of these engineering companies will religiously safeguard this intellectual property as such, right? Because for them, okay, that's the IP of their business. Now, this is true with any conventional engineering stream, right? Be it an electrical company, be it an electronics-based company, you will see consistently whatever I'm saying is true, wherein it's not the ultimate product, but it is the knowledge about the problem and the solution. That's the IP of any engineering company. Now, let's talk about software systems. What is the IP of a software company and where exactly it is stored? Friends, now in the software world, we all know that software systems are many times more complex as these engineering systems as such. So again, ask this question: whether it is the software product which goes to the customer, that is the intellectual property, or whether it is the knowledge about the problems and the solutions which is the intellectual property. Now, we can't have two standards, right? If for the conventional world, the intellectual property is in the understanding of knowledge, solutions, and the relevant things, so same thing applies for the software industry as well. Now, ask this question: where exactly this understanding of knowledge, understanding of the problem statement, understanding of the solutions, and all, where exactly this knowledge is stored? Friends, because I have been doing this for the last 25 years, I have been teaching this subject analysis and design to most of the software companies. I can tell you with great authority here, the reality in the software industry is, friends, documentation is minimum. Fine, documentation is minimum. UML diagrams are virtually non-existent. UML diagrams are basically the standardized modeling language for software systems, and UML diagrams are non-existent, right? Even if I have to say that many times people say, Hemant, we are safeguarding code. Ask this question, okay, what are you, how exactly you are safeguarding your code? Friends, I can tell you, you all know this yourself. Ask this question, how much of your code is documented? How much of your code has comments inside? Guys, there are very minimum comments in your code. And friends, the way people declare variables and the way people name, okay, the function, the nomenclature that they use, friends, even if their next developer who's sitting next to them, if he wants to read that code, guys, even he will not understand what's going on there, right? So my question is, who will steal this code? And even if this person, even if the person tries to steal that code, friends, I can tell you, ask this question whenever your customer gives you some different code base, how much time it takes for you to understand what's happening in this code base. So friends, let's be very clear. Where is the intellectual property stored in the case of software engineers? Guys, I can tell you, with no documentation, no software models, and with even the code in a mess, I can tell you the intellectual property is actually locked into the brain of the engineers. Guys, that's the reality. Fine, that the only place wherein this intellectual property is locked is the brain of the engineers. And guys, just imagine how dangerous this proposition is, that since the intellectual knowledge is locked into the brain of the engineers, every time a person quits, he takes the precious intellectual property of the company along with him. Okay, guys, this is not acceptable for an engineering company. Fine. And friends, I can tell you, as a trainer, I keep visiting many companies almost on a weekly basis, and many of the software companies have very stringent software security criteria, right? So I can tell you their security is more secure, more complex than airport security. They'll make you go through multiple scanners, frisking, all those things. And I can see some great banners saying that fine, you are walking in the most secure zone in this world, you are working in the most innovative zone in this world. Friends, I am again asking you, with all these security mechanisms that you have placed, what are you trying to secure? I'm again saying, with minimum documentation, no modeling, and the code in such a shape that this code is actually of little use, what are we safeguarding? And just imagine, with intellectual property locked into the brain of the engineers, when your engineers go out from the same scanners, okay, using all the security apparatus that you have kept, guys, just imagine when this guy goes out, can you control, okay, is there a USB drive that you can put it into his brain or his memory, okay, to transfer that data? Friends, I think we all have to be very realistic. I think the software industry has to really think about it very seriously. They'll have to ask this question: what is their intellectual property? And how do they ensure the intellectual property, which is the ownership of the company, it stays with the company and it is not locked, okay, with a particular engineer who's working on that project as such? I think I have raised some very valid questions. Think about it, and I'm sure you would have find it interesting. Thank you.